Greetings. I'll start this little video off with your high C minor pentatonic in 432 Hertz out of bamboo. Here's a look at the flute and some decent, nice light today that we have here in Portland, Oregon. Alrighty, and so all of these holes down here are tone holes. They are not meant to be covered by your fingers at all. They're meant to be open so that the air can leak out of the instrument. So the only holes that you're covering are these three and these two up top. And your first thing to think about is, I would probably say, you can hold the flute righty or lefty depending on what's comfortable for you. But whatever hand's on the bottom, I would consider to use these three fingers, your pointer, your ring, and your index. Okay? And that's 1, 2, 3. So zero. This is 0 is resting position. All right, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and that's the scale climb to do the minor pentatonic. You see this mouthpiece right here? Just create a complete seal with your mouth so that you're only blowing air through this little hole, and just completely seal your mouth around it so that air is only going into the hole. And just blow gently, like regular. And get a good seal on these finger holes. Make sure that no air is leaking out of your fingers. Get a good, nice grip on there. And then just blow gently. The flute will resonate and vibrate very intensely without a problem. And the scale climb. As for like an advanced technique, if you want 1 or 2 extra notes in the scale, you can find other notes by, let's say, half-holing and like peeling your finger back on certain holes if you want to pitch bend. Let's say like there's this note, there's this phrase in the flute. So that is extra notes in the piece, and aside from that, there's an upper register technique that I can show you really quick that you can eventually try to get into your playing, which would be, and then all holes closed except 5, and blow a little harder than normal, and that brings you up to the next note above the high C, which is all holes open. And then you peel your ring finger back. So that is a little extra kind of phrasing or notes or perks that are in the piece. Once it's more of an advanced technique, but once you get comfortable playing the flute, you can try experimenting with hitting that extra note, which is this all hole with the 5 open, blowing. It's an overblow, and you'll hear the flute jump up to the higher note, and then just peel your ring finger a little bit away from the hole, and you'll get that texture. So that's this piece. Okay, those are the specs and the general playability with this piece. It's got a nice, vibrant and clean tone. You can put a lot of air into here, so get used to varying your breath pressure so that you can hear how the instrument cushions the air that you choose to deliver into it. Okay, so that's this piece, this not too complicated of a flute, all right? But your other one is definitely more of an intermediate level flute, and that's mainly because it has a thumb hole as well as 6 holes in the front. So first, you'll notice that this one, the finger spacings are closer together. The holes are smaller. That is better for comfort and fingering, but it will pose a little bit of a challenge at first, considering that you're still learning to play flutes. So the breath pressure sensitivity, that is the difference between this flute and this flute, is that with this high C, you can put a lot of air into it and it will brace your breath pressure relatively well. You'll be able to hear how much air you can put into the instrument until it really decides to pop or to break. into the upper register. The frequencies get distorted. With this one, you need to have more chest discipline and more throat and chest discipline. You just need to deliver a calmer and steadier and slower breath pressure into this one. So if this is moderate to heavy in terms of the amount of wind you can deliver into it, this one is low to moderate. So pay attention to that, and you'll hear how responsive the instrument varies when you try to hit, let's say, like the low note. So the lowest note is all holes closed, which is the thumb hole and the 6 in the front closed. And you just blow very gently. And then if you keep on blowing harder, you'll hear what happens. And then that's the instrument breaking and popping up into the second register. You can use that in your playing, but you just need to get acclimated to the different forces of pressure that you need to put into the flute. Same thing with this mouthpiece. It's a tiny little hole. You just create a good seal so that no air is spilling out of your mouth when you're just, blowing into the piece. And, your hands are going to need time to adjust and build muscle memory, so cramping is natural. Don't get discouraged about things like that. Just keep on going, maybe 10, 15 minutes a day, and then in a week you'll be far, far much better than you were at the beginning. Just give it some time. So with this one, very standard scale climb as well. It's 0 through what I would consider to be 1 through 3, 4, 5, 6, and then that's 7 in the back. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the back. And then I could teach you an overblow technique with this one as well. So this note, the third hole, if you're overblowing with all holes closed, which is double the pressure, then that shift in how much air you deliver into the piece will make it pop. So when you make it pop, remember that all the thumb hole open with all the rest of it is a high F, and then all of these closed with extra pressure is also that high F. Then you can wiggle the third finger, which is hole number 3, and you'll be able to add a little bit of some extra phrasing, at least with notes that are on the green and in tune with the piece.